Am I the bad apple for calling the police? That, I feel like it's gonna go either way, okay? It's either gonna go some Karen calling the police on children playing in their neighborhood, or something catastrophic, and I can't figure out what it's gonna be. Happy Apple Picking Day! Just a quick reminder, if you want a chance for your story to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send it to my subreddit, r/Am I the Bad Apple. And as a quick reminder, as you guys discuss things both in the comments of the video and on Reddit, we all have different experiences and we all come from different branches of the apple tree, meaning those different experiences are going to shape our perspectives and our opinions. It is irresponsible to shame someone for not having an experience, and it's also pretty wrong to just decide,
well, I can't convince you that I'm right, so you're just a bad person.
That's not how we do things here. And no one wants to listen to someone just hurling insults at them. So let's take it down a notch. So without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking. Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for not wanting to change my daughter's name? I, 25 female, and my husband, 27 male, are expecting our first child. Just like all expecting parents, we're throwing around baby names. We recently found out it's a girl and really like Kate. Here's where the problem comes in. We had a family dinner at my parents' house this weekend, and my brother James, male 16, joined us with his girlfriend, Caitlin, 15. My mom asked if we decided on a baby name, and we told her we were thinking Kate. Caitlin spoke up and told us we can't use that name because it's way too close to her name. I laughed because I really thought she couldn't have been serious. Oh, but she was. She got mad at the laughing and said,
well, when James and I get married, I don't want to be Aunt Caitlin to a Kate. Some people even call me Kate.
I told her, as much as we want high school relationships to work, sometimes they don't. And I guess she doesn't like it, but I'm not gonna judge the name of my baby on a what if of her marrying my brother. She then began to cry and just said that we didn't accept her. My mom tried to defuse the situation by saying that she was at our family dinner, so of course we accept her. But then she just said the only way she'd believe us is if I named my baby something else. I again refused, and my brother jumped in with a,
she's not even born yet, okay? Just pick a different name.
I admit I did get a little mad and hormonal and tell them I'm not picking a 6-month child relationship over the name of my kid. Sorry about it. Y'all aren't gonna last. My mom told me to leave the room because the teenage girl was in hysterics. After we went home, my mom told me she knew where I was coming from, but Kaylin was just a teenager, and since then, my brothers refused to talk to me. I get that I got mad at a girl 10 years younger than me, but shouldn't I be able to name my child what I want? I mean, my husband thinks that maybe we should name her something else, but I really love Kate. So, am I the bad apple? Would this be a funny time to introduce my cousin Rebecca? So, for those of you who don't know me personally, my family on both sides, both my mom and my dad's side, huge families, right? Okay, especially on my mom's side down in Louisiana. And we have a cousin who is I don't exactly know how we're related in some way, shape, or form by marriage. The day that I found out we weren't blood related was a very dark day for me, right? But she was there, and at the time, our families were got together for holidays, but weren't as close as we are now. Now, my cousin Rebecca is one of the only family members on my mom's side that actually lives in the same state as us. And we see her all the time. Well, my mom sees her a lot more than I do because we both get really busy and she goes and helps with her boys a lot. But yeah, I don't see what the big deal is. For a child, 15 years old, to tell her boyfriend's family, you can't name your baby this because I don't like it and I don't want it. That's a bit entitled, okay? That's a little too much for me. Now, would I have told them, oh, your relationship's not gonna last? No, I definitely don't think that I would have. And I say that with experience because, let me tell you, my brother has dated some characters, all right? Characters! And I've never ever said something like that to their face, even though they've deserved it, 100%. But that's just not like my vibe, you know? Like, why would you go out of your way to just jab someone and make them feel bad and blah, blah, blah. Like, I just don't, that's just not my vibe, you know? At least my in-person vibe. I feel like someone in the keyboard is gonna be like, I've seen you in your comment sections. Yeah, in my comment sections, I'm 100% gonna return the energy people give back to me. But like, if you don't read any of those comments in my sarcastic tone, you're not reading them right. Like, I still am never just gonna sit there and actually yell and snip and snap. Like, that's just not me. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna be snippy to someone and return the energy they give me, it's literally gonna be in this tone. Are you messing, ma'am? I'll snip and snap. What are you looking at? Where are you going? She does not want to be an apple today. I even had her in her little bed and she left me. But anyways, do I think, what was the exact question again? I can't even remember at this point. Not wanting to change my daughter's name. No, you're not. Because again, you as a grown woman can name your kid whatever you want. Like, you don't need your mom's permission. You don't need your brother's permission. You certainly don't need your brother's girlfriend's permission. Like, that's not, you can name your kid whatever you want. Like, what would happen if Caitlin met James after your baby was born, right? Would she, oh, I can't date you, sorry, you got a niece named Kate, and that's too close. Like, that wouldn't happen. Like, let's be honest. I feel like there's cats doing shenanigan things around me. Why are you scratching my furniture? Hi, come up to your bed. It's so much better than scratching my chair. Come on, VC, stop being a nuisance. I'm trying to work. Anyways, no, I don't think that you should have to like ask anyone before naming your child. Like, the only time I'm gonna hesitate before I say name your child whatever you want is A, if you're giving them a name that is ridiculous, that, you know, may or may not contribute to teasing as a kid, or, you know, like these babies with cute little names are going to end up being adults who have to fill out job applications and things like that. So like that, and if you decide to like steal someone else's name, like if your sister, cousin, or friend, or whoever is having a baby and they're like, I love this name and I'm gonna use this name, and then you like steal it, I might hesitate on my you can name your baby whatever you want stance. Those are the only two situations that I know of where I would ever hesitate with telling you name your kid what you want. And if there are other situations that you guys can think of, I'm not saying those are the only two that exist, I'm just saying that from like the information that I have in my brain, those are the only two things that like would make me hesitate with that kind of advice. If you guys have others that you want to let me know about in the comment section, like, let me know. I always love to hear your opinions. But other than that, you know, I'm going good apple. Again, I definitely wouldn't rub it in her face of like, you guys aren't gonna last. Like that's mean. That's uncalled for, that's unnecessary. But I would have held my ground and said, oh, well, you know, I'm really liking the name Kate. We'll see, maybe we'll consider. We wouldn't really just tell her that to like make her feel good about it. But like, you know, this is our child, so we might be going this route. And if you don't like that, you know, take with that what you will. Like if that makes you want to leave James, if that makes you not want to be a part of this family, that's your choice. But you know, the name of our baby is ours. Like that's probably how I would handle that. Yeah. Good apple. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for kicking out my mother-in-law? I, 34 female, have been married to my husband for 10 years. We have 2 daughters together, 7 and 5. I also have a daughter from a high school relationship who's 17. My daughter is 7 months pregnant and the father is in her life. They're both working very hard to save up money. I've already had necessary talks with her, but they're both dead set on being parents to this child. Okay, that's their choice. My sister-in-law, 35, has unfortunately struggled with infertility. Basically, she was told she would never be able to have children. She's been trying to have a baby for 10 years. My mother-in-law brought up the idea of letting my sister-in-law adopt my daughter's baby, but I shut that down and told her my daughter's wishes. The other day I came home from work and my mother-in-law was over. I overheard her talking to my daughter about her daughter adopting my future granddaughter. My mother-in-law was telling my daughter how she wouldn't be fit to be a mother, and sister-in-law is so much more prepared, and if you raise her, we wouldn't want that baby to repeat the cycle, and since I had her young and now she's having her baby young, we need to break that cycle. She then pulled a guilt trip and told her how much it was sister-in-law's dream to have a child, and she could make that dream come true for her. I simply opened the door and just said, "Get out." My mother-in-law stared at me in complete disbelief and said,
"You can't kick me out of my son's house."
I said I can, and I just did. And she left, but when my husband got home from work, he said she'd left tons of messages about how wrong I am and how I'm setting my daughter up for failure. My husband supports me in what I did and what I said, but I don't know. Was I the bad apple? No. Nope, I don't even think this is one that anyone could ever convince me otherwise on. I stand wholeheartedly firm on this belief. No, good apple, 100%. And there are so many issues that I have with this. First of all, I personally know numerous women that have had very young pregnancies, teenage pregnancies, and they're doing such a good job. They've completely transformed their life to do anything and everything they can for their child. And that's commendable. That's what a parent does, and they're not suffering for it. They love their child. They're fine. They're doing things that they want. Telling someone that just because you have a child young, your life is over and you can't give them the life they deserve, that to me is gross. Is it harder? 100%. So much harder. But there are people out there, parents out there that, they ended up becoming parents a little younger than planned. But that's still their child. And I've honestly never understood this group mentality of shame, 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 shame. The kid's gonna be here whether you shame them or support them, right? So if your concern is the kid having a good life, why would the choice between shaming and supporting, why is that not an obvious choice, right? And that just never makes sense to me, that whole thing, Now back to this story. I think the grossest part is making this teenage girl feel
well, if you don't give up your baby, your aunt is never gonna have a family.
Do you know how many kids are in foster care or are looking to be adopted or anything like that who would love a nice supportive home, who want parents so bad? Maybe foster care wasn't a good example because the whole goal within foster care should be reunification, right? But I mean more kids that are looking to be adopted, right? So many kids out there who are in need of families. So I feel like telling this child, oh, you giving up your baby is the only hope she has. No, it's not. If the whole goal was to just have a baby, then sister-in-law needs to look into those other avenues. That's what makes sense. And I know that the whole thing is some people just want a child that is related to them. Okay, that's fine. There are other options to try and convince a young girl that she's going to mess up this baby for the rest of her life or mess up her life. It is possible. It is 100% attainable for her to give this child a good life. Again, will it be harder? Absolutely. 100% it will. But again, that's her choice. That's her child. And if she and the baby's dad are willing to put in that kind of work, I think that's admirable and I think that's commendable. And I think it's really gross for anyone to shame them for trying to do that. And again, those teen pregnancy things, sure, yeah, in the moment, it's so scandalous, blah, 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 blah. But in 10 years, no one's talking about it anymore. No one cares. Once everyone's an adult, it doesn't come up, no one's worried about it. It's old news. I feel like I'm rambling at this point. I just really hate that stigma. I think it's really unfair. And again, I know plenty of women who have gone through that and are killing it. They are great moms. They're doing great in life. So, haters can just be mad about it because I'm going good apple. And there is nothing any of you guys can say that will change my mind on that. And it is what it is. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for yelling at my mom? I, 29 female, still live with my parents for financial reasons. It's cheaper than renting my own apartment and I help them out around the house, so it's just a win-win for everybody. Over the last few years, I've expressed my desire to move out and started saving up. During that time, my family kind of went into debt. Household appliances needed to be replaced, and my mom really likes to go shopping, so they've been struggling financially. I agreed to help out more with money and started paying $50 to $100 extra a month. We also have 10 dogs. I've been the main one buying dog food recently, which is another $150 a month on top of rent, which is $700. I mean, I'm not complaining about the cost. I like the agreement we have and I love our animals. I'm just trying to give all the numbers for some clarity. Recently, one of our dogs was injured and it wiped out my entire savings just to help save her life. And it was completely worth it. She's doing so much better now. But it meant that my plans to move out were gonna be delayed. Because of that, I decided to work on a little side project that I've been dreaming of: becoming an author. I found a nice affordable publishing company and told my mom. At first, she was kind of angry with me about doing this so close to the holidays because she thought the money I spent on that could be put to better use. And then told me she's not getting her bonuses for the next 3 months and she was gonna rely on me to pay more, but since all my extra funds are gonna be going towards this project, she guess she'll figure it out on her own. But now she's excited because she thinks I'm gonna make it big as an author and told me that I'll be able to support her and get her all the things that she wants and support her and my dad completely. I tried to tell her I don't think it'll be as big as what she's expecting, and even if I just even out, I'll be happy. It's more about the experience for me. But she just keeps going on and on about how much I'll be able to support her and I'll be able to pay for her and blah, 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 blah. I finally just kind of snapped and told her, you can still work and you should continue to work and pay off the debt you've accumulated and got yourselves into. And of course I'll help when I can, but it's not entirely my responsibility. I got so mad she kept bringing it up that I ended up leaving and staying the night with my grandparents. My dad is staying out of it, but my mom is really upset that I yelled at her and about her financial situations. And my sister's just saying that I should suck it up and help pay off their debt to get mom off my back. I mean, I'm paying $1,000 to my publishing company for a ghostwriter and a proofreader and an artist and all the publication stuff. And it's my dream. I feel like I should be able to do that. But I just, again, don't feel like my parents' debt is my responsibility. So, was I the bad apple for yelling at my mom over this? This one, I know this was really easy for the people in the comments, but this one's kind of hard for me for a few reasons, okay? First, it always feels silly to me to intensely argue and fight about hypothetical situations that haven't happened yet, you know? So for me, pointing fingers at something that someone is struggling with over something that has not happened, to me that kind of feels like a low blow. And I'm not saying oh, you're bad and wrong, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that I would not have done that, if that makes sense. And to be clear, I'm not saying mom is the great apple either, you know? I think when you get yourself into debt and then just expect everyone else to deal with it, you know, I don't agree with that either. I'm not saying the mom's entitled to the money. I'm not saying that the daughter should take care of her mom's debt. I'm not saying that, okay? You're never entitled to have someone do something nice for you. But I do think in a way, it's kind of weird to me that there was so much intensity and emotion and anger behind this, because even though you do pay your way at her house, she's still helping you out, you know? You can't afford to live on your own, and she's letting you stay at her house. And I understand that you have rent, and I understand that you help with the dogs. I get all of that. But you know, where I live, an average 1-bedroom apartment is $1,800. My mortgage, I know what my mortgage is, okay? And I know what a lot of people's mortgages are. And okay, what, you're paying $850 a month? That's still a lot of money. I'm not saying it's not a lot of money, but you know, compared to what it would be if you were living on your own, you've got a pretty great deal going on right now. And I just think it's very strange to be so angry that she thinks, oh, if you make millions of dollars from your, like she's imagining, like, you know, those they're football players or they're actors or actresses that, you know, make it big and make millions and like pay off their parents' mortgage. Like she's envisioning that. I don't think she's envisioning like, oh yeah, you make enough money to be able to like buy your own place, but you have to buy her place first. Like you have to take care of her stuff first. Like I don't think that's what she's picturing. I think she's picturing you like becoming a best-selling author, making millions, and then like the family has no more troubles. And I could be wrong. Like I could be, you know, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm giving her too much of the benefit of the doubt. But like, it just feels weird to me to put her on blast when like she very clearly is helping you out right now. You can't afford to be on your own. She's giving you a place to stay. She's not charging you what normal rent would be. And granted, you know, I live in a nice area, so like I'm sure there are places that exist where rent is cheaper, but like we're in a time where rent and houses and mortgages are at like an all-time high, right? In general, again, she's really helping you out. And I'm not saying that means that her debt becomes your responsibility. I just think it's really weird. If she wasn't helping you out the way that she is, you would also be in really bad debt, you know? And I think in her mind, it's like a, well, I'm helping you to make sure that you're not in debt. So if you ever get to a point where you can help me, that would be so great. And again, I'm not saying that the mom is owed it. I'm not saying she's entitled to it. I'm not saying that the daughter like has to take care of her debt, because she doesn't. It's her money and she can do whatever she wants with it. I'm just saying that I think that the anchor about it is kind of weird to me, you know? Like I think both of them have a little bit of entitlement, like mom that's like, oh, you're gonna completely take care of me when you make it, but then also the daughter of like, I know you're helping me out and I know that you could rent out this room and like help pay off your debt, but you're not, and you're letting me stay here and blah, 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 and I'm not going into debt because you're helping me out. But if I make it big because I'm not having to pay all these other bills because you're helping me, letting me stay here, how dare you insinuate I should help you at all? Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, I'm not saying she's the bad apple, but I might go more like crab apple in my opinion. I think I'm gonna go crab apple because it just, I don't know, it just feels a little weird to me. And again, none of this has even happened yet, right? Like, she hasn't even written the book. Like, who knows if she's gonna be the next George Martin or not? You know, like, we have no idea. None of it's happened yet. So again, it feels weird to be getting so like huffy and puffy over hypothetical situations that like may or may not happen. But I just feel like there's a little bit of hypocrisy sprinkled around, and that is why I'm going crab apple. I think there's a possibility someone might be able to change my answer if you give me some good points in the comment section. But like, I'm going crab apple because even though I don't think she's wrong for like having the mentality of that's not my job, I definitely wouldn't have thrown it in mom's face, and I definitely wouldn't have gotten so angry at the idea of it. Like, those things to me are a little too questionable for crab apple right now. You know what I mean? And again, I know someone in the comments can be like, mom's a leech. I'm not saying she's not. Actually, I kind of am. If she was genuinely a leech, I don't feel like with the kind of debt she's in that she would be so willing to help out her daughter and like not make her go out. And you know, that's still extra utilities for an extra person. That's still extra food for an extra person. You know, it is still a strain. I don't know. Do you guys at least see what I'm talking about? Like, am I making sense at all, or am I just off my rocker? Let me know, I guess. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for calling the police? I, 16 female, sometimes babysit on the weekends. My mom's coworker needed a babysitter and she gave him my number. I agreed to babysit 3 kids from 2 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. I guess the parents just had some party to go to, so yeah, I'm down. It went okay, but the parents didn't get back at 8:30. At 9, I tried calling them and they didn't pick up. I texted them a few times to check in. Hey, are you guys okay? Just stuck in traffic? They weren't picking up or responding. At 9:30, I called again. Again at 10. again at 10:30. I tried calling my parents, but my dad was at a work dinner and my mom didn't pick up, and then I tried calling them again. No one was answering. At 11:30, I was panicking, okay? I didn't know if something happened to the parents. I didn't know if they were on the side of the road somewhere and needed help. I didn't know what was happening, and I also had to get home. I didn't know what else to do, so I just called the police. The police came, and about the same time the police showed up, the parents showed up. They were so angry that I called the police. The dad started screaming at me, and he's still very upset. I didn't think I did anything wrong. I mean, I didn't call the emergency number, but I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get in touch with them. They were hours late. I was worried something happened to them, and like, what else was I supposed to do? Was I the bad apple? Like, should I have just waited longer? This unlocked a memory from college. So, I was babysitting for someone that was like associated at the place I was working in college, right? The restaurant that I was working at. And maybe you guys can tell me if like I was wrong for this one too. I don't know. But so the mom was a widow, and it was the anniversary of her husband's death. And she and his parents wanted to go out, and I was babysitting the two kids. And we agreed that they were gonna be back at this time. And I originally wasn't even gonna take it because I think I had like a midterm or something in the morning, but I just felt so sad that it was like the anniversary and I wanted to do her a favor. So I was like, yeah, that's no worries. They were like hours. When I say hours, I mean hours late. And I couldn't get in touch with her, nothing. I didn't end up calling the police, but I ended up texting some of the other servers, and I was like, hey, I don't know what to do. And they told me that I was being selfish, because they're probably just sad somewhere because this is the anniversary of him dying. Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just worried I can't get in touch with them. Like, anniversaries of people dying are very hard mental health wise. Like, there was a very big concern of, are they okay? But also I had midterms in the morning, you know, and we had that discussion beforehand. And so they told me that I was just really rude for even bringing it up and asking like, hey, is something wrong? But I don't think so. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this girl. Like, she's very right. What if they were in trouble and needed help? What if they were stuck on the side of the road somewhere? Like, you never know. And when you have someone watching your kids, you know, I feel like it's just so disrespectful to just completely change the plan, right? To say, okay, we agreed upon this time to this time, and then just completely disregarding it as if their time doesn't matter. The things they have going on tomorrow, not a big deal. Like, regardless of the reason that you're going out, I just feel like that's so inconsiderate and so disrespectful. Like, I can't get on board with that kind of mentality, you know? So I'm going to go good apple. And I know some people in the comments are gonna be all upset of, well, that might get CPS involved. Okay, then like, don't abandon your kid, you know? If you said, I'm gonna be back home for my kids at 8:30, you don't have a parent or guardian there with them. You have a 16-year-old babysitter. Like, be responsible, be a parent, be considerate, be back at the time you're supposed to be back and take your kids back. Like, am I crazy? I don't think I'm crazy, right? But I guess you can let me know down in the comments. But I'm going good apple on that one. Okay, I got 3 good apples and 1 crab apple. Let me know if you got something similar or completely different. Would definitely love to hear your reasonings down in the comments below. As a reminder, I can't always sit there and respond to everything, especially when I have all my press-on nails. Typing is really hard. But I read through a lot. Like, I really do. I read through as much as I can. I truly, truly, truly love listening to what you guys have to say. And as a reminder, if you guys want a chance for your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can submit it to my subreddit, r/AmITheBadApple. I know next week is like the day after Christmas, but I still felt like it would make more sense to do next week as our Christmas episode, you know, as we're like recovering from Christmas and things like that. So, my well wishes for you for next week is that you have a wonderful Christmas with your family if you're celebrating. If not, I hope you just have a nice time. I hope you just have a nice break off of work and school and things like that. But if you are celebrating Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful holiday with your family and that it's just nice and relaxing and everything that you want it to be. And then we can decompress and talk about crazy Christmas stories for next week's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see y'all next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.